Get this going.
Here you go.
Oh yeah, I got a cookie. Do you want to shut that door, Glenn? I think I talk louder than Joe. So we want to say hello to our new students, Danielle and Gandhar. Say your name correctly, because I don't.
No, you probably.
I did? Yay! Does anyone not know everybody here? Do we need to introduce ourselves?
I probably have to introduce myself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and we have new people coming back, which is Mike, and both of them are Mike. Wow.
And they won't meet each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
So Mike Soha and then Mike Van Bell.
Yep.
So now we get to meet both Mikes. Mike's been away on co-op for, what, a year?
Yep. So I was in Indiana for all of last year, so now I have to come back to school and try to get into the swing of things. And it's,
So you don't work all again.
yeah.
So you're another year now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm on my last year and I graduate in May, hopefully.
Wow.
Sweet.
And Mike's, the other Mike is here to help us. He used to be a student here, but is just coming back for seasonal work for us as long as he wants. But he was a student here before and was working at the HelpDesk. So it's really nice to have him back and somebody we don't have to train again. We will be getting more people, hopefully. There's just so many resumes coming through on Handshake that it's hard. I just have to start interviewing pretty soon. So that'll probably start next week. So I might be pulling a few of you in to do some peer interviews to see if you think they're a good fit for the help desk. So that'll be happening probably next week. I want to go over a few things. I know this is a really, really long list, but we're going to try to get through it like really fast. How's that? Does everyone understand what we're doing with OneDrive?
I don't think I was here when it was explained.
Yes,
okay. Well, basically all the students have their H drives are now read-only. They did have a chance to move things back and forth before, I think the 16th of August, was it? And then everything became read-only. That's just for students. Pretty soon, or somewhere down the road, we'll be moving all the faculty staff to OneDrive. That's going to be coming down. We'll get plenty of probably information before that goes live. I know that we're having some issues with OneDrive, just students at the help desk, because you guys lost your even read-only for a while, or some of you did. So you got that. And what happened was employment, when it goes through the cycle, when the summer kicks in and classes end in the spring, it sees that it kicks everybody out. And I have to put in a new personnel action file for everyone to be hired for the summer. And then at the end of the summer, same thing happens again. So we need to make sure, number one, if anybody did not have classes this semester or this summer and they worked, they need to fill out a form so they're OPERS exempt again. So if you haven't done that form, make sure that you do it. If you didn't take classes in the summer. Most of you, I think, did. Oh, you did not. So you need to fill out a form.
I was in co-op.
You had co-op. But you had class though, right?
That is counted as a full-time student. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I
think I put you in. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you filled out the form at the beginning of the summer, then you have to fill out the form at the end of the summer. Let's put it that way. If you don't remember if you did, see me, because you only have until, I think, the first 30 days or a couple weeks of school to fill that out. So let's make sure we get those in. So I got off the OneDrive.
A lot of people are asking me because I do not know personally like how to access OneDrive, because I know how to change H drive to OneDrive, the files from H drive to OneDrive, because I read the instructions on utoledo.edu, but I do not know how to get into OneDrive.
So normally, if you go to and log into your email, and I actually had this issue with somebody that called the help desk, and since we were short of people, I ended up taking the call. Was walking through somebody to get into OneDrive, and she actually wanted to download Office, really. But if you go to log into your email, you'll see different, like up in the left-hand corner, you'll see what they call a mosaic.
Excel, all other files, applications.
Right. So you should be able to see OneDrive on there.
Yeah.
If you can't get to the Office or whatever, sometimes if you click where it says Outlook, it'll turn into 365, and then you can get in through there. There's another way to go through the cog wheel on the right side and just keep going down the menus to get into 365 that way.
But isn't that a complex way? The OneDrive thing than the H drive? I feel H drive is simple.
There are ways to install it on your personal PC too. And I need to talk to a few people. I'm waiting for our managers meeting to make sure that we need to say that
because
to
a
people.
lot of people are feeling when they go, I get that when we get into the email, they're feeling something like inside the Outlook. It's not kind of a virtual hard drive or cloud or something as such. So
you can do Skype for Business. You can do a lot of different things from once you log in there.
Yeah.
So we kind of need to advertise that a little bit more.
Can't you just Google OneDrive utoledo and get it?
I don't know.
Might just.
That's a good.
I usually get into Blackboard, just like Blackboard UT, and then I click on the first link.
I know that if you are on utoledo site, if you just Google OneDrive, it usually starts. Did this need to be passed around?
Yep.
Oh, you did? Okay. Who brought this? Is that Sri?
Sri.
Oh, good. Good. I'll have to try some of that too. Anyway, we'll have more on OneDrive and more documentation. I think that we meet next Tuesday. If not, it's the next Tuesday. And after that meeting, I'll be able to tell the help desk more about what we can tell people about OneDrive. Because I actually have it installed on my PC at home. And I can just go back and forth. I have 2 OneDrives. I still haven't figured out how to get rid of one. Or which one I should get rid of. Because I had one from my student as a student, and I had one as an employee. So, we just need to be able to understand and point people in the right direction.
Okay, is it?
But since you're students, I think that you've been really good at being able to help students with moving stuff from their H drive and things like that. So, I appreciate that. There's been a lot of cases, moving on to the building assignment sheets. Please use the building assignment sheets. Please know how to use the building assignment sheets. There's an assignment sheet for main campus. There's an assignment sheet for health science campus. Even one for Scott Park. They are on a hard copy, usually somewhere in each cube. They're also are up on the wall. They're also online. I think Akshay has them pointed towards on that help desk workflow app too. There on those building sheets there is red and green numbers. The red, I believe, are classroom services, and the green are the NSM, I think, labs. or is it LSS?
Labs.
LLS.
Labs.
It's the labs.
Yeah.
Please be careful and always look through that, those highlight or different colored rooms to make sure that the room is not on there. I just got a email from the director of classroom services, and it's like, why isn't this, going to us? Why did it take 2 or 3 people? It kept going around before it got back to them, and that can really, really upset professors that need a projector fixed. Or normally, if you're talking about a projector or something in the room that's a classroom, always make sure you check out the classroom services, because it's probably 9 times out of 10 it's covered by classroom services. Microphones, projectors, all those types of things for class. On cases requesting the marketplace access, do you know what marketplace is? Okay. If you ever been to the cafeteria upstairs, do you see that little glassed-in area where it's got a bunch of vending machines? You have to swipe to get in there. If you want access to that, it has to go through auxiliary services, namely to Joy Seifert. I'm going to talk to her and see if she wants us to specifically send emails to her, or have people send emails to auxiliary services. So for right now, Joy said, let's do email. They used to be a part of iSupport, but they didn't take care of some of their cases. So a lot of times they would get backlogged, and they were actually taken care of, but we saw that they weren't. So we just kind of severed that from them using that, and just started to just email him.
Are they available all the time? All the time?
No.
I got a call at 7 p.m. Some doctor called me and he said he wanted to get into that marketplace, and I asked him to send us an email from the supervisor saying that he need access to all those kind of things. So
They can just personally ask for it.
Okay.
Yeah. If they need a supervisor, then I'm sure Joy will tell them.
Okay. All right.
Joy's in charge of that over there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna put all of the things that I'm talking about in the knowledge base, because some things are changing, and I haven't changed the knowledge base yet, so this is the document to go by right now. Working the queue. We've had a lot of people that aren't reading the history before they're routing. Mainly you want to make sure you always check cases before you do anything with them. So the first thing, when you're working the queue, whether it's a suspended case or an open case that may have been somewhere else already before, open up the history, look and see who's done it, or if they've put any notes on it. Collab likes to put in there, we did this, now call them back and do this. If you don't understand, or if you think that it's not appropriate, like say they're saying no to someone, and you don't feel that you have the right to, or that you feel uncomfortable talking to someone about something, make sure you tell myself or Joe, and then either we'll call them or tell Collab to call them. I've been trying to tell my boss and Collab itself that there are some things that we really don't think that you guys would feel comfortable doing, so they really should be doing that. So just let me know, or Joe. And always, when you're reading the history, expand everything, because sometimes you don't see everything. It also tells you exactly where that case has been, what they picked. If it came in via email, it will say email body. Right above in the history, it'll say how the case came in. If it came from my support, or if it was direct, it could be either a tech put it in or we put it in, and it should have the author up on the main top ribbon. I've been getting some complaints lately, and then I go in and I look for a case, and there's nothing there. We had a director of a lab, or actually an area, that called me, and she was very upset because supposedly we told the student to go by their own cord, and that's the way we said it, was go by your own cord. And I don't know who this person talked to. I would like to know more information, because sometimes in the telling of the story, things change. And they could say, well, they were real flippant with me, but they really weren't. It also could be that a technician told you to tell that person on the phone, and I really need to know that. So if you ever get something like that, there needs to be a case in there, and a case that I can look at and say, because I knew what time this person called, the same way with the Terra case that came in. I knew what time they called. There's no case. I've got a phone call that came in, but I have no case. When you go in with the next one, the rule on creating cases, or the rule of cases, are you're either creating a case or you're adding to a case with every interaction of a user. So don't ask me about should I create a case, because you should if there's nothing in there. And then you need to put information in there on what you've done, if you troubleshooted, things that you asked for that you weren't able to get from the user, put that in there too. It can be straightforward. Don't be mean about it. They didn't give me anything. Don't put that in there. Put things like, location not given or unknown. A person on the phone was not in the area. If it's, you're asking what the error was. It's just, I open up cases sometimes and then I go ask somebody, and they'll go, well, they did this and this and this, and all it says is one sentence on the case. And it doesn't happen with just one person. It happens with a lot of different people. And I'm like, why isn't there? And you all know, whoever I've talked to, that I've done that to quite a few people. If they told you something, put it in there. Like I said, don't be mean about it, but if they told you something or wouldn't tell you something, put it in the case. If they tried something, put it in the case. If somebody else, if they said a technician was there and they did something, put it in the case. Of course, anything with patients, or anything here on this House Science campus, it is invaluable to have the tag number, so even the technicians can remote in and fix things. A lot of times they don't want to give it, but it's just real important to get it if you can. And also too, if it has anything to do with patient data, get the MRN number or at least the patient name. Okay. UChat accounts. I don't know if a lot of people, especially new people and people that are returning, would remember. But people that haven't activated their accounts, when you look at it in UChat user, they are disabled. So don't think that they can't log in because they're disabled, because they just haven't activated their account yet. So it's automatically disabled. So don't reset a password. No, don't reset their password. Let them log in and create their account. Let them activate their account so it gets their information in there.
By using the date of birth.
Yes.
But I got a recent user who did the same. But he tried all the other browsers. Only thing he's getting is authentication failure.
On an account that wasn't activated? Yeah. Then that's going to probably have to go to Collab.
I did, and they sent it back asking me to ask them to activate their account first.
Did you put that in the account?
Yeah, I
That-
did.
No
It's
matter
still,
what
I'm
they.
not sure if it's still in the queue. I just sent it to Collab again saying that I told him to activate the account, but he's getting authentication failure. I'm not sure. It's been a day almost. So.
Okay. Usually you won't get an authentication failure unless
Yeah,
they've already
Yeah.
created the account. But we'll have to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, they hesitate to bring people through the MyUT account, and they want to reset the password. And I'm like, don't reset the password. If they haven't authenticated, if they have not created their account or activated their account, don't do anything with the account. In that case, don't reset the password. It needs to go to Collab so they can see it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then they blame us.
Okay, I guess I did that.
Yeah. Also, too, remember when you're walking people through, well, there's two things. People that don't have information in UTAD user, like new students, still have them try to go to MyUT account, put their rocket number and their birth date in, or their SOCH number and their birth date. I believe that they want it to be rocket number, but they can try a SOCH and see if the account will create. And just because their information that you don't see it and they're new doesn't mean that it won't create on the fly, because that will create. If there's something out there, either the employee or a student information, it can create on the fly if it's there for it to create. So always have them try that, even if they're not, especially if they're new, employee or student. The other thing too is we're going to try to help collaborative services by any time we have I don't know if you've ever seen these cases. Former student calls in, I need a transcript, their account's expired. So what do? Collab says, please walk them through a password. Because usually it'll go to Collab, they do something, and then it comes back to, they won't do that second step till it comes back to us, and then it has to go back to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to reset the password. So by looking at this handout that we have, it's like the 4th page. And if there's nothing in here, then we want to take them through a password reset. Because that means when it goes to collaborative services, they have to change their designation to former student and then reactivate or activate the account so then they can get in. And it's basically then they're creating a portal too, so they can go in and look at their transcript. So if it's empty like that, then we go ahead and walk them through a password reset, then give the case to Collab. Of course, make sure you're getting all the information. And it's really important, especially with people that aren't in iSupport, if you can get an alternate email. That really, really is helpful, because so we don't have to sit and try to call them. We can email them too. So, and just remember too, one little piece of advice, when you're using those templates in iSupport to email people, and it says, name and everything, if you're emailing a technician from a case, change that name and put their email address into because it's automatically going to go to the customer. And so if you bring up somebody in iSupport and they're actually in iSupport and you want to send them an email, but you want to send it to their Gmail for some reason because they're locked out, you can make sure you're changing it up in the place where you go to email. It'll be in that top line. Then if you're emailing anybody else from the case, make sure you take you all know that iSupport fills in all the fields that are in brackets, right? Or in, what do you call those? Less than, greater than.
Yeah.
It will fill that out with all of the customer information or whatever information that it has in those brackets. The other thing too, I'm kind of getting off track with the iSupport thing, but when you're in iSupport and you go to a customer record, I don't know there's a few things that I don't know if you know. If you open up a customer, click on their name and open up their customer record, you can actually go to the tab. I'll just show you real quick. So I have an incident here. So I can click this customer. It'll open up her profile, and oh, you can't see it. Thank you. Okay, so I've opened up this customer profile for Trudy. I don't know if you know this, but you can actually go to the social client tab, and you can see their UTAD right there.
Is there a social client for us?
A what?
Okay.
And don't ever click the reset, but this is just so you can see. And I also wanted to tell you too. Wow, there's a lot of things that you can do in a ticket. You know that you can go to the past tickets if they don't give you a location, or also when you're scripting with somebody. That's what a little bit farther down the line. When you're on the phone with somebody and you see that customer, you could say, "Oh, you're in the hospital in 1210A?" And they'll say, "Yes, that's where I am." Just copy and paste. And your phone number is 3426. I mean, you can say that, and if they respond yes, you can just copy and paste. If you suspect that it might be a clinic number, ask them for a more personal number instead of getting to the clinic and then you have to sit there on hold and wait. Also too, make sure that you're looking at let me create a case here. Make sure that you're looking at the category script. I don't know if you know about this little magnifying glass here, but you don't have to click category and go through that whole tree. You can just click here, and you don't have to put everything in. Let's just say I want to say BitLocker. If that's the only one, it'll automatically populate.
Also templates. Templates are very helpful.
But I mean, it's so much easier sometimes, and you don't have to put a lot of the title in. You can search for using a small bit. Trying to think of something. I'm not thinking of anything off the top of my head. But always make sure that you're looking for, this one didn't come up with a script, but if you miss the script, like let's say you click out of it, you can always go to the history and the script will be in the history. Because everything that you saw or, at one time will automatically goes into the history.
Also, we can do it on view and memo.
Yep.
So you can.
Yep. There's a lot of things that we don't use with iSupport that we can. And also, too, with assets, make sure you're putting it in like 3 different places. In here. There are places down here to put alternate emails, the UTAD username, things like that. You always want to choose the category while you're on the phone so you can see the call script. It may tell you that, you can try this, or let's just say someone called about something you don't know that much about. Just putting that word in there on what they're saying, or a partial word, you might be able to come up to the category. You can also search the knowledge base and things like that, but sometimes the category has excellent scripts. If there's something that you think that we need to change, that you heard from somebody or you came and talked to me, that it would be nice to see on a script, let me know, because we can surely put that in. Making you feel better about putting in cases and putting the right correct information in, that's what our goal is with Joe and I. Okay? And then not only to get the script, but actually read the script and then try to do what it says. I see a lot of things come through. There are times when I kind of use these little lines for the information that is required in a ticket before you can save it, especially with telephone services and that. Sometimes I'm using a category that really doesn't apply, but it's the closest one I could find. I may not have all that information, but I try to put in everything that I can. So don't use your dashes and asterisks, very limited when it comes to those fields. Try to fill them in. Wireless changes. All of that should be up in the cubes now. Does everyone know about EduRoam?
I don't really.
Okay. Secure Public has now become EduRoam. It should be on both campuses now.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been, Secure Public hasn't been turned off yet.
Right.
But it will be soon.
So the different login for EduRoam is just the @rockets at the end of it for
UTAD username and then @rockets.utoledo.edu. No matter if you're a student or faculty staff.
So even faculty use
Yep.
Rockets.
Yep.
So what is like, it was mentioned 50 devices per day. What is it about?
A lot. That means that's what's connecting.
Oh, I mean, it's the lowest number.
What now?
I mean,
What?
in the paper, you just mentioned like 50 devices per day for EduRoam and uToledo and UTGuest.
At the last meeting, or on that paper that's out there?
Okay.
Probably the one I had in there. That came from networking statistics at the time.
Oh.
So I'm assuming that's what was connecting during that time. There's probably a whole lot more than that now.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you're telling people that can't log in to EduRoam. That's probably what the problem is they're not using @rockets.utoledo.edu. Because I've heard some HelpDesk people confused thinking it was @utoledo.edu for staff. Nope, it's @rockets.utoledo.edu. Network issues. If someone is calling and saying they don't have, a port's not working, or like there's a connection or a cable's not working. It may sound like a network issue, but network always wants a technician to troubleshoot it first, instead of sending out a network engineer to take the Ethernet out of the phone connection. Because that's half the time what it is. Yeah. Or they're plugging it into a port that hasn't been activated, and when there's another activated port right beside it, they just needed to change the port. What was that, Hayden? All right.
So that's your last name.
No, he's on.
You've seen us all the time. I
Yeah.
know that.
All right. I wanted to let you know, I know a lot of you park in this parking lot out here, and you guys are doing a risky thing. But I did put some maps in the aisle in case you want to be proper and park in the student. It's the yellow areas. There's a student parking like over between Kobacker, like to that side of Rupert, and in front of Kobacker, and in front of the health education building. There's another one over in Collier if you're wanting to walk, and Dana too. Those that have commuter passes, I would call, or don't have them, or if you're a freshman and you don't have, call campus police and see what you should do. I want to see what they say to you. And then tell me what's going on. Yeah.
Where should I park?
I don't know.
Patient parking. Patient parking.
I don't really know because, well, I hate to see you.
Get the 8 permits, I'm pretty sure.
Do they? But they have to think they have to pay $150, don't they?
For the A, it's only 50.
50? Okay.
What? $50?
He's like, I wasted $100 more.
No, I didn't.
Someone's taking a risk. I won't tell you what I've done. Anyway, so gold on the maps is safe for commuter parking permits. If not, I would call campus police and see what they say.
You're not saying anything.
I'm not saying anything. I might get in trouble if I do that. All right, Z Drive shares. We're going to change this process. Have you all tried the tool that we sent out? No?
What is it?
The tool to go out to the utilities and to see what the shares.
When did this get sent out?
Yeah.
You deleted it. I got that notification. I have to resend that to you.
I probably did. I just go through and delete. Well, so I had 7,000 emails when I logged back into my account because I still got emails until May, and I didn't know that. So I had 7,000 emails, so I was just like, delete all.
Yep. So there's a little tool. You can go out onto IT. They put in a utility folder. And you have to be really careful about if someone gives you, like say they want physiology. There can be a lot of different physiology drives. So make sure that you're looking at the right drive. Sometimes people want access, they want to give access to a little folder under a big folder. And sometimes that little folder has nothing, no permissions granted. They have to give up to the other umbrella folder up here. And sometimes they don't understand that. They think every folder has permissions, and that's not the way Collab does things. That's not the way things are set up. So if you kind of can back out and see if there's another manager to a share, you can go down to that level that they say folder wise and see if there's something. But if not, then just keep chopping off different parts. Sometimes you won't be able to get the share owner because there is none. Those cases, along with all the expired user cases, if you can't find the manager of a share and you can't find and any expiration cases that you get, somebody's expired, except for students, you can give those to Collab. Those go to the HelpDesk administrator queue. So expired users, employees, affiliates, all of that, those go to the HelpDesk administrator queue. Students go to Collab if they're expired.
Faculties and staffs.
Faculty and staff, if they're expired. Normally you're going to see affiliates that I'll call.
Okay.
Those need to come to a HelpDesk administrator queue.
Not even Lynn Hut?
No.
Okay.
We'll contact Lynn Hutt if we need to. Usually I write Shala, and you guys probably don't know all about different people that take. And that's just so much information. And then sometimes it doesn't work. So it's best to give it to Joe or I. To the HelpDesk administrator queue. And also Collab, Diane, and their student do a lot in that queue because they have access to it too. In fact, every once in a while, Josh from Collab just goes in and cleans the whole thing out. And then I don't. I'm like, where'd they go? So that process of the C drive shares is on that extra page, the last one. And you can actually copy and paste that email. And if a case comes in that somebody wants to share, you can actually send the email with that share manager's name to the person requesting. Sometimes the person requesting it is the share owner and they don't know it. And then what this will do is it will give it to the it'll give the email to the user and say, and if it is the share owner, it'll tell the share owner what to do. It tells to go out to the site. Do you guys know about I don't know if it'll let me do this without creating a case. Don't ever do that. So I'm saving this case. Let me save it. Do I have everything? No. I love seeing that. So, if you go into the email, of course, these are the two templates that we normally use. And apply. So what you see in there goes between, actually in place of this. Okay. The admin site, I'm just going to put UT admin. Let's just say I wanted to make this a hyperlink. You can highlight the whole thing and then go up to here. Oh, wait.
Teresa, I'm gonna drive to the restroom really quick.
And then push the hyperlink and it'll bring this up. If you want it to be an email, you can switch it to email. If you want it to be a hyperlink, you can just put the link here, UT admin. But you'll need that whole HTTP at, utadmin.utoledo.edu, whatever it is. Then, why it keeps doing that? But then it's going to make this into a hyperlink. So if you make that into a hyperlink for the UT admin site, that's really good because then all they do is click in their ticket that they get, and it's like, or in their email, and they're right there at the UT, and then they can bookmark it. And, oh wow, and but there's a lot of people that are admins to shares and they don't understand what to do. So this gives them instructions on how to do it, and you have to copy the whole email because some of the things that it says down towards the bottom is, make sure that you're correcting it because we want to make sure that the person has read write. That's another step, and if they leave it off, it only gets read only. So, but they can add and remove people all they want through this site for that share. Does anyone have any other issues that they want to bring up or they want to talk about? Does everybody have any good time?
How about skipping this page?
What's that?
How about skipping this one?
Oh, which one is that?
The next one.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So, in 2 minutes. The phones and laptops have been mainly phones. I see them all the time, and I see people on their phones all the time. It would be best if you kept them off your desk or you kept them way far away. I really don't want to see them on the desk because it's just, I don't know, you guys have suction cups or something that goes, come to me or something like that. And then I see, yeah, it's just really much better. I think they have to put them in drawers over on main campus. I don't like to stifle you guys, but I also want to get the queue work done, and I want to get chats answered, which we haven't been doing sometimes. And then also with chats, sometimes it's one person getting all the chats. That's really not fair. If you see a chat come in, get it. Sometimes they're really easy, so it's kind of better than being on the phone. You can put yourself on break if you take a chat and you need some help. Clinical hotline's a little different. That's usually urgent. Headlines. Has everyone looked to see how to put a headline in? Because no one put a headline in for when we were having issues last time. I seem to be the only one putting headlines in. Go out to the documentation and look at it. And be familiar with it, please. Same way with even greetings. Changing the greetings too. Please answer the phone. IT Help Desk, this is Teresa. How can I help you? Don't say IT Help Desk or IT Help Desk or you can smile. They can tell if you're smiling on the phone. It just comes through. I know that everyone has bad days. I know sometimes we don't feel good, or we've been through a lot, or we have a test tomorrow.
Or it gets to 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And people complain about it.
Yeah. So just just try to be uplifting, and it just, they're so much better sometimes. People are when you're on the phone with them, if you're uplifting. And also to make sure that you're talking to users and like repeating what you're putting in the case, so we know that what we're putting in the case is right. You know, I know sometimes they're rude and they'll go, "That's not what I said," but you know, just try to get what they're saying. See if it's concise. Also, watch your spelling and grammar.
Yeah.
I've seen some really atrocious things. It's not all about hurry, 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 hurry. It's, you know, so because you're not going to hurry, 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 get on your phone. So let's just be good and let's take care of our customers, because we're all about customer service. Z drives, what?
Also, remember to change your UT admin account's password.
Mm-hmm.
Because my password for that was expired and I was trying to get into Imprivata and it locked me out because my password is expired.
It's a good thing to remember. We already went over the next one. Calling off, please always make sure you CC Joe if you're emailing or texting me, and vice versa. Even if I'm off and Joe's the only one here, still CC me, whether you're texting or email. You can also let your coworkers know at 3333 if you're going to be late. They might want to know, especially if they've been working since 9 o'clock the night before and you're scheduled at 7 and not here. And that's happened way too many times lately. And if you might have to buy another alarm clock, that's usually the usual excuse lately. Or charge your phone if you're using your phone's alarm. Let's see, I got that one too. My phone died. Yeah, I have 2 alarms at night, so I know how that is. And the reason I have 2 alarms is because of power outages too. Outlook profiles. Don't delete them. Don't do anything with them. Let a tech do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, main campus especially really bad. Don't do anything with Outlook profiles, because it's not that you don't do anything right. That's not the problem. The problem is we don't take the time to, and we don't know what they need back. And so if you delete the profile and put in another one, they don't see their archives and they freak really bad. And then they call managers, and then managers call me, and it's just a long thing. So just don't do it. In fact, I really, really caution you to do things like what Joe was doing, to make sure you know what you're doing before you do that. Like redoing a persistent VM and that. Okay.
I gotta go.
All right. Can someone go get the phones for a while?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Okay. Sorry, Joe, I didn't see that. Also, too, all the meeting items are out on the Z Drive under the HelpDesk meetings. And the YouTube video, the speaker is out there, and then the audio is. Tell your coworkers and everything they miss stuff. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Now I have chocolate all over me. There you go.
Can you please pass the brownies? They're really good. Thank you.
Okay, I have everybody's name. Are you still there, Hayden?
Sure.
take that as a no.
Guess not.
Yeah, I am.
All right, I'm putting everybody in
Anthony's
here.
here too.
What?
Anthony's here too.
Oh. Anthony, say something.
Hello?
I'm trying to scoop all of this in here. I don't have anything else to put these in, do we?
We can't see you guys.
Oh, that's right, you can't. Well, Shane was here. Trudy's here.
Wait, I think there's a basket out there and we can cover it with a plate and
Is there a basket?
I think so.
I'll go get it.
Not here. I'm trying to hurry.
What's going on?
Oh, the I am putting in names for the drawing. Jacob's not
Okay.
there, is he? I must have dropped Danielle. Oh, Leo. Nadine. Who wants to pick? Who wants to pick? Okay, sure. Hopefully you don't pick yourself. Oh, well, maybe you do.
There's Shane.
Ah, Shane Scott. We'll let him win because he was here, so.
Rigged.
Rigged? All right. Well, I'm sorry that we went